guys, it's Anna here at Dee's in Louisville, Kentucky to show you how to make the bunny butt wreath for Easter coming up. The kit has the bottom with the little pink feet and the ears, and I'm going to attach that in later. But first I'm going to do a quick reminder on how to make a mesh base. You start with a 24-inch work wreath and you stand up all of the twist ties that are already there. Normally when I make a base I use mesh that's about 24 inches wide or 32 inches wide, but today I'm going to do the 10-inch mesh because I'm going to add so much to this wreath. I don't want the base of it to be too full and puffy that it's hard to add into. So doing the 10-inch mesh allows it to be a lot slimmer of a wreath, and then I can just have it as a background to add all the stuff onto. I chose this burlap. It's a lime and white check, and I'm just going to loop it like normal. So grab the end. Let it drop to the floor, that way it doesn't snag on anything. Gather the end and then just open any set of the twist ties. I always do the entire inner ring and then jump and do the entire outer ring. So just lay it between the ties and twist it like a bread tie. Then you're going to leave yourself about 8 to 10 inches. Just gather it in your hand again, go to the next set of ties and twist it. And you're going to make them all the same size the entire way around. The other thing that's really nice about using mesh as a base is you don't have to measure this as you go. You're just kind of eyeballing how big the loops are, and it's going to add a nice pop of green behind all the stuff we're adding. The other really nice thing about mesh is that it's great outside. So you can put this on a porch or on a front door that doesn't necessarily have a lot of coverage because the mesh has vinyl in it and it will hold up just fine. So I'm almost done with the inner ring. As you can see, that only took me just a few minutes to do the entire inner ring. When you get back to where you started, go on and make one loop over that tail. That's going to hide the tail and also complete the circle of the first ring. And you can also go back and kind of puff out your loops. Mesh is very forgiving, so if one's slightly smaller than the others, you won't notice it, but you can pull it a little bit and fill everything out. Now you're ready to jump down to the bottom row. Grab your mesh tight and go to the nearest set of ties that make up the outer ring. Lay it in there. And now you're ready to do the entire outer ring the same way you did the entire inner ring. I'm going to leave the same amount of mesh, about 10 inches, because I don't want this wreath to be too big and full. But if you were making a snowman or something that needed to be full, you could always leave more mesh, maybe like 12 to 14 inches, and that's going to give you a much fuller look. So I'm just going to complete this entire outer circle, and then I'm ready to add stuff on. The other thing that's really great about work wreaths are these ties are what you're going to use to twist everything on. So you don't need to hot glue because hot glue doesn't really hold to mesh anyway. Things will pop off. But you're going to use these ties to attach your ribbon and your stems and all the other things you're going to add in. So I'm almost done with the outer ring. Again, just leaving about 10 inches of mesh in each one. And once I get back to the tie I started with, go on and make your last loop just like before, and then just cut your mesh right off and tuck the end into the last loop you just made. You'll have about 2 to 3 yards of mesh left. This was a 10-yard roll, so this size 24-inch takes about 7 yards. If you go up to the next size, a 30-inch, it's going to take the entire roll. So now I'm ready to hang it onto my board. As you can see when I hang it on the board, if you've watched some of our other videos with mesh, this is not near as full as a lot of them, and that's all because of that 10-inch mesh. So you can adjust your loops, make sure your wreath looks even, and now you're ready to add in your stuff. So I'm going to start with the bunny kit. These kits are so nice because they come with wire attached to the parts. So the ears have little wires on them as well as the bottom. So it's got 2 wires here to attach to the top and then 2 to the bottom. So on the bunny wreath, I don't attach everything down below. I actually attach it, the top of the bottom to the ring at the top. So then the butt is right in the center of the wreath and his little feet look like they're coming out. So he's kind of like diving into the wreath. So I just take the wires on the right, move my mesh out of the way so I can see that wire frame and go around that wire frame. And then I just twist it on there really good. Twist it a bunch of times so it's really secure, and then just push that wire behind the bunny there. Take the other side, move your mesh out of the way, go a little bit further down, and go around that wire frame. And then we know he's on there really good. Then if you want, for extra security, just kind of lift the legs up, grab the bottom ties here, and I like to go out to the side, because that's the closest point it's going to reach the wire frame. And that way, if there's wind or anything like that, he's just really in there really well. So again, on the other side, twist it. And now he's on there. And again, you can adjust your mesh around him where you moved it out of the way. Just kind of pull it back around. And then he really looks like he's diving into a rabbit hole. Now I'm ready to add his ears. Just going to take the wire. I like to hold them up and kind of see where I want them to go before I twist them on, so they're not like too close together or too far apart. And I'm going to go kind of like this. So the first one I'm going to add, got caught in my mesh there. Let's see here. I'm going to go to the outer ring. So the bunny's attached to the inner. I'm going to go towards the outer ring. And I'm just going to twist that on the frame. I'm sometimes even just take it off so I can see a little bit better what I'm doing. Twist it there around the frame. Make sure it's where I want it. Now I'm going to add the other one. I'll go right here. Twist it around the frame. So you can adjust them as you need to with the wire running all the way up. Now you're ready to add in your flowers, and I chose ribbon and carrots. The flowers I chose are these really pretty daisy bushes. They have a lot on them. So there's 3 different daisies, but all this pretty greenery and some berries and all kinds of wispy stuff. So I started by chopping the stem off a little bit, and now I'm going to fluff it out. And I'm going to hold up where I think I want it to go. I was thinking maybe one here. And then it's all wired so you can bend it around. I'm just going to set it there where I decide to put the other one. And I was thinking maybe the other one could go up here. Somewhere in that place there. And then I can add ribbon and a bow to it. So I'm going to finish fluffing this one out and attaching it right in that spot. Take your stem. Lay it on top of where a twist tie is, and then use the twist ties to secure it. Twist it a few times, and then what you want to do is find another place you can twist it in. So I'm going to take this back part here, and I'm going to twist in another set of ties. You always want to twist it in at least 2 places so it's really secure, and then that way when you go to start bending it and putting it where you want it to be, it's attached really nicely, and you can do that. So again, since all this is wired, you can kind of make it go where you want it to. I'm going to do a little there, make the flowers stand up, maybe even bring this down here between this mesh. And look how far one stem really goes when you bend it all around like that. And the best part is you didn't have to cut it all apart. I left it in one piece and just kind of moved it where I wanted it to go. Now I'm ready to add the other one. So same thing, kind of fluff it a little bit. I'm going to go here, so go into the frame, twist it in one spot, and then twist it in another spot. It doesn't matter if you attach it to the front of the work wreath frame, like the inner circle or the outer circle. You just want to make sure you twist it really well in a few spots. So now you're ready to bend it around. This one I'm going to twist in a 3rd spot because I'm going to make this stuff go kind of down. All right. So the flowers really fill it in well. And I like it because it adds a different texture other than the mesh back there before you add the ribbon in. So now I'm ready to add some ribbon. I chose 3 different ones. I chose this pink and green with yellow stripe. It's 2.5 inches wide. I chose this yellow background with the white bunnies and the carrots on it. And then I chose the green daisy that's 1.5 inches wide. My favorite is the stripe, so I really want that to show up. So I'm going to put that on later. I'm going to start with the bunny. Let it drop to the floor so it's out of my way, and go on and cut your V cut there. The way you do that is you just fold the ribbon, the good side on top, in half, and then cut a diagonal, and that gives you the V cut. Then pinch it, leaving a little bit of a tail, and just start wherever you see a hole. So I'm going to start kind of up here by his ears and come down this way with it. So go in the tie, twist it again just like a bread tie, and then make your first loop. The most important thing when making loops in a wreath is to not pull too tight, because that's going to give you that straight, really tight look. You want to leave yourself some ribbon, and it takes more ribbon to do that, but it also makes the wreath look a lot better. So I made my first loop. I'm going to make another one over here, and that one was attached to the inner ring, and this one's going to be on the outer ring. It doesn't matter how you do it, but you do want to make sure you go back and forth so that it fills in really well. And then I'm going to cut it. That way I have more control over where the ribbon goes, and I don't have to worry about now it's back here trying to get it up here. So now I'm ready to add some more of it. I'm going to go right in here behind the flowers. Make a couple more loops. Make one down here. And then cut it again. So I'm going to keep doing that all over the wreath until I have as much of the bunny ribbon in there as I want. And I'm going to do it in 2 loop sections. The ribbon is definitely the part that takes the longest. Each ribbon's gonna end up using about 5 to 6 yards, depending on how much you add. But this yellow one I've already probably used about 3 yards. So whenever I do these, I always get the whole roll, just in case I really want to add a lot of ribbon, I'll have it. So now I'm gonna add some over here. And then I'm going to do one more section right up here again by the ears. Here's my ties. Okay, now I'm ready to switch to a different ribbon. I'm going to move on to the green daisy. This one, I'm going to make little bows in my hand as I go. Take your ribbon, leave a nice tail. Make a couple loops in your hand. Don't cut it, just leave it attached to the roll. And then just lay it in the ties. So I'm going to start here. And I'm going right on top of where I added some yellow. And then just pull them around each other. And then you left that on there so you can go on and loop it as well. So I looped it, I'm gonna cut it. I'm gonna make another bow in my hand. The bows like this do take quite a bit more ribbon, but they're really showy and it gives you that full look. So I'm gonna go right here. Go on and cut it. Here. There's no real right place to put it or correct place to put it. You just want to put it where you notice a little bit of a gap in ribbon or where you still see quite a bit of mesh. But see how full that makes that wreath. So as you can see too, the mesh kind of fades into the background. It serves more of just as like a base, almost like a grapevine wreath, instead of being really a lot of mesh. It gives you that ribbon floral look that you see a lot. I'm gonna add one here behind this daisy. Make a loop. When you do the looping like this in your hand and then adding it in, it ends up taking the whole 10 yards to fill in a wreath this large. And again, I'm bouncing back from the inner to the outer, all over the wreath, so it really fills in. Let's see. I think I need one at the top and one at the bottom, and I'll be done. So I'll add one here. Let's do one more right up there by the ears. Okay, now I'm done with the green, and as you can see, I only have about a half a yard left. I took the full 10, and now I'm ready to add in the stripe. The stripe is what I wanted to show up the most, so I'm going to put it in last so it's kind of on top of the other ribbons. And I'm just going to loop from place to place, kind of like I did with the bunny ribbon. I'm not going to do bows in my hand. That works really well because that ribbon was narrower. I'm just going to go back in and add it right on top of the other two because I like that pop of pink that matches the bunny so well. When you're doing your last ribbon, it's real important to kind of step back and see where it's going when you add it in there, and you don't want to cover up your flowers, so I'm just going to do it one loop at a time. Make sure all my floral still shows up well. Do another one here. Do one more up here. All right, so I've added a bunch of ribbon in there, and now before I do my carrots, I'm going to go back through and pull some of this to the front, like bring my ears back to the front. Just move that ribbon around, move that mesh around. I'm going to make sure my feet are sticking out. And then I'm also going to pull my floral forwards. So go over here, find your daisies, pull them in front of that ribbon so that you don't lose all that good floral stuff behind all that ribbon. So that just pull it right in front of it. So it really shows up. Okay, and now I'm ready to add in some carrots. These carrots are nice because they come on a long stick, I'm gonna do, just kind of hold them up and see where I want them. I am gonna dip these in a little bit of glue just to get them to secure better. And then I'm gonna twist them using the twist ties. So reach in there, kind of bend that stem they're on back up. And then that way they can still show up really well and stick out a little bit. So I'm gonna add 3 or 4 of those in there just to give it a nice pop of orange. Might go there. Maybe one here. And then one over here. Thanks for watching today. Stay tuned for more videos. We have the white Easter Bunny. We also have a blue one with a little bit of orange on him. And definitely come in and visit us and watch out for more videos.